Hello, Richard. Sorry you called this afternoon, and I'm still at work. And anyhow, so I know you talked with Justin, and what he didn't know is that I've been hard at work behind the scenes trying to figure some of this stuff out. As far as the adjustment, it turns out these two bolts, according to our guy at Cascade Classic Outboards, those are how you make an adjustment as to how whether or not you're in gear. But I said, well, I was like, well, okay, I can start loosening and tightening screws, and I'll have to take it apart to figure out how it works. That's not the way I work. That costs the customer a lot of money, or cost me a lot of money. So I downloaded a manual. First thing I did was I reached out to Unlimited Marine because they've got this guy that, is an Evinrude trained mechanic, and he said to me, "Well, what year is this engine?" And I told him 1958. He says, "Oh," he says, "I don't know anything about engines that old." He says, "My training starts at 1985. And so he says, "I can't help you." And I said, "Well, I understand that because we have a lot of people ask us to work on newer boats, and that's not our forte. It's not our wheelhouse." So I understand that. So he was unable and not so much unwilling. He was sympathetic. He'd like to have helped me, but he said he couldn't. So anyway, what I did is I ordered a manual online, and I can tap into it. I just got to get back on the computer. I've got a link, and I can look at anything in the manual for the next 3 years, and $54. So I've got that link, and I'll be finding out about this, and I'll also be finding out about this. There's obviously an adjustment here for adjusting this compression relief valve, and my thought process on this is that I want to learn, well, what is the way to adjust this to keep it from slobbering. So my guess is that this is constantly, that the valve is not completely shutting, and that may be the difference between this. We have a lock nut here, right here is a lock nut, and we have this screw, and this one is horizontal and this one is vertical. So they're obviously not the same number of turns in or out, and I suppose I could just go ahead and turn this one horizontal and lock it, and hoping to get this. But what I really want to do is learn the proper way to adjust that. So hopefully that's in the manual as well. And that's the engine stuff that we've got to work on. On the trailer, Brandon has given me a price on what he thinks it's going to take him to do the trailer work. And then I'm going to get down on this creeper, and I've been looking at these Keelsons, and the keel and the Keelsons, and I think I see what's going on there. I'm getting vertigo down here. Anyway, Taylor's pointed out to me that the bottom is actually not quite flexible, but it is flexible. I started to say quite flexible. It's not. It's a 1/4-inch plywood, maybe 3/8. So it's pretty flexible. And you'll notice this Keelson is not cracking out. And because the boat is less flexible, the bottom is less flexible out towards this edge. This edge has a lot of strength. This is the side of the boat is kind of a beam, and then this is a very narrow span. So these outer Keelsons, I think, well, at least on this side. Let me check this other side here real quick. Yeah, we've got some paint that's come off on there, but it's not cracking at the joint between the Keelson and the bottom. And we're losing some what you're seeing is some filler. So you got glass down here, then you got filler too. So I think what we got to do, and this was Taylor's recommendation, and I think it's a very good one, is we will cut this and we will paint this Keelson separately from the bottom. So we'll paint the bottom, we'll paint that back, touch that up, and then we'll paint this Keelson separately so it can continue to flex. What's going on is this is the plywood. See the plywood move, and the Keelson's not going with it. Now we might be able to, it looks like this is all held together with fasteners at the frames perhaps. And what we might need to do is, or what might help anyway, is either put some framework on the inside of the boat that's heavier duty and sandwich this Keelson to that framework, or sandwich the bottom between this Keelson and some framework on the inside, and make sure that everything moves together. Because the fact that they're moving separately is the problem, and and there may not be any fasteners from the inside down into the Keelson. That the answer may be as simple as doing that to make sure everything moves together, or doesn't move together. It's be solid together instead of being moving separately, because we didn't realize that there's a flexing was going to be a problem. But you also notice that this Keelson, of course, is farther away from the side of the boat, where the side of the boat is keeping this area rigid. So that's one area of concern. And of course, the Keelson is, the keel is getting, it's almost getting crushed on this rubber that we were concerned about. It's kind of sort of getting crushed on that. And so now this, let's see if I can see if this moves separately or not. See, that feels like that's in pretty good shape that way. But this back here, where you've got lots of rollers, you don't have that damage that you see up here, where you have all the weight sitting on two rollers that are spread very far apart, quite far apart. So the bunk idea here, I think, is going to do fine, and we're looking at putting a step in there as well. And we've come up with, I don't normally have discussed the prices, but rather than be concerned about that, we think we could do all the modifications to the trailer for less than $1,500. So what we'd like to do is do a time and materials not to exceed $1,500. So if we exceed it, we eat it. If we don't, then if we come in at $1,200, then you pay $1,200, for example. So that's what we've got in mind for the estimate on that. So this Keelson right here that's pictured, that's the one on the starboard side. And so I think we have the same story there. I'm going to go around to the other side, see if I can roll over there. And I'm going to see if that side flexes on that over there as well. Hang on. Not really wanting to roll. I must have had a little sawdust on the ground, I guess. That's the problem. So that is already separate. We kind of sort of have painted this separate from the bottom over here. And what we're going to end up, of course, is a bunk in between this. So the flexing should be kept to a minimum. Let's see if, I think this side, this Keelson, is just better attached than the Keelson on the other side. is what's going on there. And because I don't see near the cracking on this one as I see on this other one. So that's going to be, I think that's how we attack that. As we, again, I think we need more fasteners than that one, to be honest with you. Well, not that I would be dishonest with you to start with, but I believe what we need to do is add more fasteners to this one on this side. And I think having some more structure behind, on the other side of the bottom, and sandwiching the bottom between the keelson and that structure on the inside would be so a great advantage. And then I think also what's going on here is it's just the amount of pressure that we're putting on here is causing that to flake off. So if we will score this, and our bottom will be painted, and then our keelson will be painted, and then we can put like a flexible caulk in the seam to seal that off. Because I know when I start talking about cutting that paint, then it was like, well, what about water infiltration? Well, we'll make sure that we'll use some caulk on that to keep that from occurring. And actually, I mean, this plank seems really tight, or this seam between the keelson and the bottom is pretty tight. That feels like that's all we want to do. We don't want to cut deep. This looks like right here, it looks like we've got some fiberglass moving right there, and that would certainly cause the paint to flake off. So again, maybe that we need to do additional fastening of the keel. Put some screws in from the top. There's a frame right there. And there may already be screws from the top, so we'll have to take a look at that. But I think that's how we cure this problem down here. And then of course we'll the other thing that's going to help this problem down here is getting the pressure getting the pressure more evenly distributed on bunks, carpeted bunks, instead of on these rollers. Rollers are just generally not good for wooden boats of any kind, and so they're highly discouraged by the hobby. So that's where we're at, and so we're not letting any. We just had a very busy week, and I'm just trying to get my plan put together so that we don't waste a bunch of your money, and figuring out the engine as we go instead of knowing what's going on with the engine. So I've actually called out to Oregon several times, and Mark had a treatment on his liver, and he's having some real difficulty. So anyway, so I bought the manual. I should be able to figure it out with the manual. And again, I reached out to Unlimited, and this is out of that guy's bailiwick, so out of his wheelhouse. So anyway, that's how we're attacking it. We'll let you know, and we'll be back on it hot and heavy on Monday, because I have a manual that all I got to do is start printing pages out. Thank you, sir.